What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. Oh man, it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy, crazy, crazy few days. All the stuff that's going on in the world. Another day, another video, right? I just hope everybody get their notifications when they come out. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like video. The like button. If you want to support our page, the Cash App is Carcino, Carceno. We appreciate all the love and support. Now, Mary J. Blige, right? Mary was the queen of R&B soul, meaning that she started it, the soul and everything else. And Mary's good at what she does. She made good records. Back in the day, you couldn't touch Mary and putting her with Method Man and doing all the things that Mary could do. If you put her in a studio, you know and you have background singers, you can do some rework, and you can make the song sound the way it should sound, and what it should really sound like. When you have people that can work on your thing, there's some people who could just blow. And when you mean blow, means it don't matter if the lights is, if the microphone ain't working, it don't matter. She can drop the mic and blow, you know, and use what they call the instrument, which is the voice, and just blow people away. Mary's not that type of artist. That type of singer. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, and people are good in their zone. But when you have these insecurities about yourself because you feel like you're not like that, and people are expecting you to be that, anybody that's coming around you that may be a threat, you know, you develop an insecurity of not wanting to let go the mantle. Now, Mary has had a career that was all up and down, up and down. Her battles with alcoholism, drugs, and just rough upbringing. Mary was always, conflicted into what she wanted to get into. And we'll have a whole discussion on this on the Patreon, where we're going to get into a lot of different topics that you guys may have questions about. We're going to kick that all off, on the Patreon. So just stay tuned. You're not missing anything. We're going to get it done, because this deserves a behind the scenes. Because there's a lot of stuff in this video that happened behind the scenes that the general public still does not know. um, Keyshia Cole came along, and when she did, she was like out of nowhere. She had been around for years, doing her things, and people knew her and knew of her. And she's not like a super strong vocalist either. She reminds you of a Mary type of singer. But the thing about her is she was a little bit more real. She didn't have a lot of the insecurities that a lot of these artists come in the game with. She was very humble, and very appreciative, because she knew how long it took and how hard it was for her to just even make it to get the debut album out. They never expected that much out of Keyshia Cole. So when she came out with The Way It Is, that was a failing label. That when that came out and blew the way it did, it basically was the best thing that ever happened to her, because she blew up on a failing label. So now that the label is gone, she's a free agent after her debut album goes platinum. You know what I'm saying? So now the situation, it transfers her to a whole new position. So Jimmy Iovine grabs her immediately, and like Universal came and was like, "Oh, we gonna sign and do a partnership deal with Universal and Giffen Records." So here comes, all the big budget studios and all of these, different situations now for her. She's now in the mix immediately off one album. Boom, here comes Keyshia Cole. So while Keyshia Cole is being brought into the label, Mary J had just gotten there. Mary J. Blige just gotten to Giffen Records. She just did her deal with Giffen Records, like right before or like right after this just happened. So Mary J is on the label now, and she's got like a what, a three? I think she got like a 3 album deal. So, man, people, it is too early in the morning for this. Oh man, I can't believe they even up this early. So anyway, sorry about that. Now, so Mary J comes over, right? And Mary J has got all of this attention and she's coming through. She's got her new album. This is a whole new Mary. They redoing it. Jimmy Iovine put her with Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. You got Raphael Sadiq writing. You got Will I Am writing. Rodney Jerkins is writing her songs. She's got all this good stuff going for her. So the breakthrough comes in, boom, knocks everybody off the charts. She's doing great, right? Be Without You and all these great things are happening for Mary over at Giffen. She's the main suspect, like the main artist on there, and she's treated like such. So when she comes through with the Growing Pains album, things was starting to take a different, you know, she did the tour, and about time she came back with the Growing Pains album, and she's like, I'm finna come out with my Growing Pains album. Boom. It drops, and it's doing well, but it's here comes Alicia. I mean, here comes Keyshia. So Keyshia Cole is right there, and she idolizes Mary. Like, oh, I love it, So she even back then was trying to get Mary to do a song, like Little Kim and Missy on the Let It Go song that was the #1 single off her follow-up album. They definitely got down on that, and Little Kim and Mary are friends. So she's like, oh, see if we can get Mary to do a song together. All of us get on there. We're gonna have a black. And Mary J had a problem since Puffy and her blew up on Last Night. Last night, I didn't want an answer. So at the time, Mary has these spells where she's cool with Puff, mad at Puff. Cool with Puff, mad at Puff. It's just off and on her entire life of knowing him, and that's just how Diddy was. Diddy, well, once that song blew up on his album Press Play, it was used to be put on her second album as well. So when Keyshia Cole, she was the new it girl. Last night, put her where she needed to be. Now, here's the problem. When it was time for the spins on the radio station, she felt Mary's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is Keyshia getting all these spins? Mary's complaining and going behind the scenes and actually complaining at the fact that they gave her a song. It's about 50 different reasons why you would hear why Mary don't like Keyshia. 50. And none of them make sense. Oh, they gave her a song that was supposed to be on my album and they're gonna give it to her. I'm like, what? And I'm Mary J. Blige, and who is this girl off the street? You just give my album to her? So this is where the problems came in. All throughout 2007, 2008, Mary was on tour. Mary just didn't want to deal with her. She didn't want to have a song with her. Nothing. She was very upset that the writers that was supposed to be writing for her were giving songs to Keyshia Cole. So, the next album, the Growing Pains album, it was okay. It didn't quite do as well as the other albums because the writers were different and it just didn't take off. Like, it came out the gate strong, but it just didn't have that kick, like the other one. So she got her money because she went right on tour. Giffen, Jimmy Iovine, they had her doing European tours. Once you're doing European tours, you're doing some real money. But they brought Mary there to be that veteran, and then wanted to use her to kind of boost up, Keyshia Cole, by having them do a joint record and do something together. And Keyshia never really bashed this woman. I mean, really, never. She was like, I grew up a fan of Mary. Like, I never did anything to her. She didn't. They actually met, took a picture together and everything. She called her the queen. She has never, ever bashed Mary J. Blige. I swear to God. Never have. And she knows all of the things that Mary has done behind the scenes. There's so much that went down that you guys don't even know. That was just petty. Petty. Seatings at an award show. Petty. Like I said, when we get on the Patreon, y'all really finna have your minds blown as far as how petty this stuff is. Now, here's where it gets even crazier, right? And was it 2000? I want to say 2008. It was either 2008 or 2009. Mary is Mary I think she gets upset with Giffen Records and was like, I'm finna come out with my own label and my own imprint and y'all could distribute it. And they gave her that because she was complaining so much about what she deserved and all this, and she can go get a deal over here and sit out the contract. They buy out the contract. She wants her own imprint on the record. She want to put her own imprint, which was like matriarchs or whatever. So they gave it to her. They say you get your production team, that you want to work with and make the type of record Mary wanted to make. So she made the Stronger Than One Tear album, and they were talking about the release date, the promotion, and she was basically telling Giffen Records basically about promoting Keyshia Cole's album. And this was what the problem was. They were like, y'all promoted that woman's album over mine. And the problem is, she's not good. And went to radio stations, pulling strings, trying to get everybody to push Keyshia Cole's album out of the way. It wasn't getting the spins. They had to cater to Mary. And they basically losing their artists because play your cards right and You Complete Me should have been doing a lot better than what it was. So at this time, there's problems at the label on both sides of the tear. Keisha's not happy with the way the album really was distributed and worked. As far as the labels doing what they're supposed to do, she felt the resistance, and we know where it was, steering from. And it was just problems, and she tried to cause a rift between Keyshia Cole and Mary, and those two didn't like each other, and it was no real beef. It was mostly Mary being Mary. She's very, I gotta protect my territory, and this is how. I don't want nobody's gonna shine in this light but me. So Mary, being the veteran in the game, don't want to let it go. She turned into Aretha Franklin. She turned into Aretha, old people. But there's a lot people don't know, and we'll get into that on the Patreon. But that's really what it was. So when you see her reach out to say, "Hey, I want to do a collaboration song," even now she's like, "Look, let's do a song together." Everybody want to hear a Keyshia Cole, Mary J song, because people listen to Keyshia Cole saying she reminds me of Mary when Mary was back in the day. Mary don't like that at all. Mary wants to be like, there's only one Mary, and I'm Mary. So the beef is in her head. She's had this competition with herself. Mary has always sold more records than Keyshia Cole as far as when she came back and was doing what she was doing. She was Mary J. Blige. So, but she basically did what she could to manipulate, use her power to have everything about Mary J. Blige. And so the label, kind of fell back a little bit on Keyshia Cole because she wasn't trying to give the label no leeway. And they was like, we can't control her. It's just not going to be worth it to continue with Mary J at this time. We just got to let Mary go. We got the 3 albums, basically just, we got our money. We went and did the tour internationally. Let her go and do whatever it is that Mary is doing at this point. So they did the partnership with her deal. And they just basically made their bed with Mary, and just kept making records with Mary, and was like, we can keep this going, and let's do it this way. But Giffen Records was not going to last kissing up to Mary. Just wasn't. But they chose Mary over Keyshia. It was a business decision. And people are going to say, man, she really did that to that poor girl, man. She she's Mary J. Blige. What could I tell you? It's a little bit more to it. Like I told you, we'll discuss it on the Patreon. For those who just got here late, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and definitely, if you want to support the page, my Name is Carceno, Karceno, and my Patreon link is in the description box. But it is Carceno for life, in case you didn't know. And we out like a scout on a new route.